Did you know that one of the most important medical practices in American history didn't come from a famous doctor or university, but from an enslaved African man? His name was Onesimus, and his story is rarely told. In the early 1700s, smallpox was one of the deadliest diseases in America. Outbreaks swept through towns, killing thousands. There was no cure, and people lived in fear, especially during epidemics. Onesimus was enslaved in Boston by a minister named Cotton Mather. One day, during a conversation, Mather asked Onesimus if he had ever had smallpox. Onesimus said yes, but he explained something shocking. He told Mather that back in Africa, people protected themselves from smallpox by deliberately exposing themselves to a small amount of the disease. This controlled exposure helped their bodies build protection so they wouldn't get seriously sick later. This practice is known today as inoculation, an early form of vaccination. Mather was stunned. This knowledge didn't come from European science books. It came from African medical tradition passed down through generations. When a major smallpox outbreak hit Boston in 1721, Cotton Mather decided to share Onesimus's knowledge with local doctors. He encouraged them to try inoculation to save lives. But instead of being praised, Mather was mocked and attacked. Many doctors and townspeople refused to believe that an enslaved African could possess valuable medical knowledge. Some even said the idea was dangerous or unnatural. One doctor who listened, named Zabdiel Boylston, decided to take the risk. He inoculated a small group of people, including his own son. The results were incredible. People who were inoculated were far less likely to die from smallpox than those who weren't. Statistics later showed that inoculation saved many lives during the outbreak. Even then, the credit was rarely given to Onesimus. History remembered the doctors, history remembered the ministers, but the enslaved man whose knowledge started it all was nearly erased. Yet without Onesimus, the practice of vaccination might have reached America much later at the cost of countless lives. Today, vaccines save millions of people around the world every year, and their roots in America trace back to African knowledge carried across the ocean by someone who was denied freedom, education, and recognition. Onesimus never received fame, he never received thanks, but his contribution changed medical history forever. So the next time you hear about vaccines, remember this. One of America's most powerful medical breakthroughs began with an enslaved man who refused to let his knowledge die with him. And that is a story worth remembering.